Hey guys, it's Crawthorne. Pew pew pew. Welcome back to the GPC, or as I like to call it, from first to worst.jpg. That's essentially what my season has become at this point. Yeah, last week wasn't a great week for me. I played poorly and I prepped not too well, and Rob exploited that brilliantly, so to come out with only a 2-0 loss is acceptable. This week we face off against Murk, another one of the title contenders, or playoff contenders rather. And after last week, I essentially need to win every single game, and I need Rob and or Bluesy to just lose every other one, basically, to catch up. It's not an easy task to do, especially with the next two games being against the two other playoff contenders, so yeah, it's going to be rough. This week, as I said, I face off against Murk, links in the description as always. He essentially has drafted a shardy team. And if you're wondering why his logo is disgusting, it's because it's the one that's linked on the coach info tab. He hasn't updated it, so I'm not changing it. Yeah, Megalop just destroys my team. There's not much more to it, really. I'm going to have to use resist berries and whatever I can to stop it. Manaphy shouldn't be too much of a problem with Latias and Rotom-Mow. Nidoqueen can be, but I've got ways to deal with it. Porygon 2, I was sort of hoping would come because it is a decent stop to my special attacker, so I thought he might bring it. But it's perfect setup fodder for Tyranitar, so I thought, yeah, we can exploit that maybe. Tangrowth, I kind of expected to come. The only physical attacker I have that can really deal with it is Entei, so it's quite a good bring, especially if he paired it up with Druddigon, which he could have brought as well. But yeah, I sort of expected the first 5 to come, and then maybe Meloetta, maybe Druddigon, maybe something else. So that's sort of the team matchup. Not much really to it that I can say. I don't have much that pressures his team per se. Latias has a decent enough matchup, except for Matisse, of course. And Copelion is decent enough if I set up sufficiently, so that's sort of the aim here. T-Tar also, but it really needs to be at +2. You'll see in the team builder what my plan was with that, so let's hop straight into the team builder. So this is the team that I decided to bring. My sort of plan of attack with this was offense mainly, due to the nature of Merc's team. He has a lot of bulky threats, so this was the right idea, IMO. First things first, I needed in a focus Crobat for Lopunny. It's a good lead as well against most of his team, so that's why I decided to bring this. Overall, this set is just there to deal with Lopunny and the U-turn out if it's a matchup I don't want to face. So that was the plan of attack with that. Enough speed to outspeed max speed Manaphy. Max attack. Well, rest in attack, adamant nature, just to ensure an OHKO on Lopunny, even if he was a slightly bulkier set. The reason I didn't go max speed was I was expecting him to just speed quick this because it's the fastest thing on my team. And if I outsped this and I had just a more offensive set, I could OHKO it, so I very much doubt he'd want me to be able to do that. So that's why I brought this speed instead of max speed. So then we have a Subdedance T-Tar. Again, I know, if he brings Porygon 2, it's just set up fodder. I can sub on a potential T-Wave, start D-Dancing up, and hopefully sweep. That's the plan with this. This coverage hits all of his team, at least neutrally. The only thing that can really take hits decently well is defensive Manaphy, and even then it won't appreciate a +1 Stone Edge. I believe it's a 2-hit KO at that point. The speed is so that +2 I outspeed max speed Megalop, if I remember right. That's or it's at +1 to outspeed Manaphy. It's one of the two, because those are the two speed tiers I wanted to reach. So then we have another Mon to outspeed max speed Manaphy again. Yachiberry Latias for 2 reasons, and I'll go over why in a sec. And his role was for Manaphy, so I don't have to get the Spectac drop from Draco Meteor. Psyshock was for Nidoqueen and something else, I forget what. Megalop, that's it. And Draco Meteor for stab recover, just for longevity's sake. Yachiberry was for 2 reasons. First of all, that he might bring Ice Punch Lopunny, because Fake Out Return does not kill that combo, even if he's Jolly, which he has to be to outspeed Crobat. And if he does do enough damage, then that means I can switch straight out into one of my other mons to take a return and then deal with it accordingly. So that's sort of the plan there. Yeah, and also for Ice Beam on Manaphy, I'm expecting more of a defensive car mindset, but if he's mono attacking, it could be mono ice. So yeah, that's sort of because I do have potential water absorb Polyrath, so that was sort of the idea there. Then we have Glaceon. Ice Beam, Bolt Beam is good, very good coverage against Merc's team. I believe his only ice resist is Manaphy, so HP Electric is good coverage to hit that. Protect is 4 HJK just to get damage off, and Toxic is in case the Porygon 2 wants to switch in. Sorry. Yeah, so that I can wear it down. This set does a lot of damage to his team. I can't remember what this speed was for. I think it's speed defensive Nidoqueen. So yeah, that's that set. I think I went over that enough. We have Rotomo next. Enough speed to outspeed Megalop when it's got the exact speed to outspeed this, basically. So in other words, to outspeed this, it has to hit, I think it's like 369 or something like that. No, it'll be 389, sorry. And this is to outspeed that particular speed or something like that. I can't remember what the exact numbers are, but it's to outspeed Megalop that's set to outspeed Jolly Crobat, if you understand what I mean. At least on Volt Switch, just because the stabs, you know. Will-O-Wisp to wear down things like Megalop. If I can get a Will-O-Wisp off on it, it's great. And Trick for Porygon 2, and maybe even another defensive mon like Nidoqueen. Hopefully it's not Black Sludge if I'm going to trick it, so yeah, that's sort of the plan with this. And finally we have, in my mind, the win condition this week. If he doesn't have Tangrowth, I can easily sweep with this. Magnet Rise to get out of the way of the Earth Power from Nido. Swords Dance up on it if it's not got a fire or fighting move. And this coverage is just neutral, good neutral coverage against this team. Choppleberry was specifically for Megalop, of course. This is basically my way to kill it. I always say that if you don't have a counter, you got to resist berry, so there you go. Nothing too special, nothing too janky, I don't believe, except for the HP Electric, I guess. Yeah, this team, it's a rough matchup for me, but I think it's a winnable matchup for sure. If he brings Porygon 2 and I set up on it, it's very good for me. So that's sort of the plan here. Without further ado, we might as well just hop straight into the battle. I'll see you there. I'll probably put a call out on screen during the first part of the recording with the team matchup thing. But as you can see, he brought Thundurus Therian, sorry, which wasn't on the team that I had prepped for because I took the team draft thing on the Sunday or the Monday. So that I could start prepping then. That's when I had the most time. And it turned out that Merc hadn't updated his team drafts tab thing, the sort of list, at that time. So I had a completely unchanged team. So Thundurus Therian was like a surprise to me at that point. Aside from that, the 4 months that I expected him to bring are there. He didn't bring Porygon 2, which is unfortunate. Instead, he brought Thundurus Therian and Heracross. In other words, he's brought another thing to pop my Chople. My safest lead is Crobat, regardless. The only thing that it can't match up well against is Thundurus, which he could lead with, but then I've got to pretty much free switch out into Rotom as he won't HP Ice on turn 1, so let's see how it goes. Another thing about him having Tornadus is that my speed tiers are all wrong, because everything's catered to outspeed Manaphy or Megalop once it's set up, so it's less than ideal, so let's go. I decide to switch out, of course. I'm not going to stay in because I'm expecting this to be Scarf to catch me off guard. I go out into Rotom because, as I said before, I can take a Volt Switch really easily. He's going to Volt Switch out as predicted, and here he can go out into pretty much anything he wants. I'm expecting Nido or Tangrowth at this point. Either way, I can trick it, so he does go out into his Nidoqueen. I knew he'd expect me to switch out and go for rocks, so I trick it. I get the Life Orb, which is better than the Black Sludge, to say the least, as he does set up the rocks. So that's a decent enough matchup for me. He has to switch out because otherwise he's locked into rocks. So I go for the Willow, predicting the Thundurus to come back in to absorb the Volt Switch. He goes for the safe middle and goes out into Tangrowth. I Willow that, which is always nice. And I decided to try and go for the Vault Switch, and he predicts that nicely and goes back out into Nidoqueen. Now this is where things get a little bit hairy. I'm going to pause it right here. He absorbs a Vault Switch. I'm going to pause it right here because here he's got 2 plays. He's kind of got 3. He can Sludge Wave this, being the predictable and obvious play, but he knows that I'm going to switch out. Now he has to predict whether I go out into Crobat or whether I go out into Cobalion. Cobalion can take the incoming Ice Beam, which I expect him to have, and Crobat can take the incoming Earth Power. So at this point, I'm sort of torn between the 2. I sort of expect him to expect me to predict the Ice Beam because that's like the safer play overall. So I go into Crobat, expecting him to sort of over-predict in sorts. And as you see, I got into Crobat. Showdown was a bit laggy there, I apologise. And he just got for Ice Beam, so I take 68% to the face.
Scud. That's good shit right there. I'm gonna need every last drop of this.
Here I expect him to stay in and kill me because if he's a speedy one with the Scarf, he'll outspeed and kill me, but he doesn't know that, so I play it dumb here. What I should have done is roosted up, or at least defogged, but instead I go for damage and I go for the Brave Bird, and I just end up sacking this off, which wasn't the best of ideas with his Megalop still around. So in hindsight, that was a bad play, but his prediction really messed me over there. That was a good play on his part. And he Vault Switches out, and down goes Crobat, so check number 1 to Megalop is gone. I only got 1 more, basically. Well, 2 more, I guess, but that's going to get worn down by rocks, so unless he gets 2 max rolls, I can definitely take a fake out combo. Here, I have no idea why I go into Rotom first. No clue. Just taking rocks damage for nothing, really. I should have gone straight out into Cobalion, because then he wouldn't have been able to Mega Up, and he wouldn't have the speed, so that was a really poor play on my behalf, I mean, so yeah. I take the fake out, it does, what, 6%, I want to say? 9%, well, okay, it did a bit more than I expected. If I remember right, I calculated that was an Adamant Lop, so in hindsight, bringing wet speed, Crobat could have been good, but now he goes out into this, predicting me to close combat. He predicts that correctly. Doesn't do too much, which telling me it's a defensive, or at least a bulky set, and I'm expecting Carmine at this point. I go straight out into Latias, it's my number 1 check to this. I could have gone out into Rotom, but I felt like Latias was the better of the 2, as if he was setting up, getting Leaf Storm drops wasn't going to be the best. So he does show the Carmine, that was to be expected. And I go for an Energy Ball, if I remember right, and it does 30%, I want to say, ish. There we go, Energy Ball does 32%. And he goes for a Rain Dance, preparing to rest up in what I was thinking would be next turn. So I go for another Energy Ball, I get a low roll, that's fine. The 32% was a high one. And here he goes for a Scald, which means that if you can do basic calculations in your head, Energy Ball is base 180. It's 90 times 2 because it's super effective, it's 180. Draco Meteor is 195 because it's 130 plus the stab boost. So my min roll here, after he gets his leftovers back, he's at 34%. My min roll is 33%. I have essentially about 90% chance to kill him. But I also have 90% chance to hit, so that means I've got 0% chance to hit.
Pain and humiliation I feel daily are immense. For someone like you to cut someone like me deeper, well, you must have problems yourself, buddy, so I feel bad for you.
Of course. And so he gets the rest up, and now it's a massive problem because I can't kill this off. GG RNGs once more. This puts me in a really rough spot, because it means that my Latias has to take a whole lot of damage, if not go down, so gotta love RNGs, man. At this point, I'm just going to wear it down until it kills me. I'm kind of praying for a crit as well. A crit would do somewhere between 60 and 70%, so yeah, that's kind of the aim here. Score does 30% at +2, so now if I get a crit here, he's dead. I mean, yeah, that's fine, right? At this point, with him being slightly set up. Oh, right, yes, I forgot that I do that. I think he sets up the Rain Dance this turn. Oh, no, he goes for into the Scald. He's not getting burns, continuing on from last week's theme of not getting Scald burns on me, so I'm happy about that. But here, if I get a crit, he's dead. No? Alright, fine, whatever. Didn't want it anyway. Shoutouts to RNGesus for being a real bitch once again. Yeah, I'm kind of annoyed about that. No crit again. That's fine. You can just rest up. That's fine. It's not like I wanted to win this game anyway. Yeah, I'll explain how much it mattered at the end of the battle. It's not as bad as the Leaf Storm miss against Lion. It's not as bad as the Sacred Fire miss, but it's still really annoying. So, yeah. 90% equals 0%, ladies and gentlemen. Here I just go. I'm surprised he didn't keep setting up Carmines. That would have been his better play. I go for a Draco, knowing that he's either going to kill me off or go for another Carmine. I just wanted to get as much damage off as possible, and I die. Especially because a crit Draco Meteor would have killed him, so... I decide to go out into Glace... No, I go out into Rotom, that's right. Leaf Storm from this range kills, so I expect him to predict the Leaf Storm and go out into Tangrowth or something like that, so I Volt Switch out. I've got to play ballsy at this point because I need to claw back momentum, and... yeah. Oh yeah, I take low fog damage because I tricked it. I go out into Glaceon here. Nothing takes an Ice Beam all too well. Glaceon was definitely a good bring this week, especially because I can bring it out on this and pressure it. So Ice Beam is the play, and I'm genuinely surprised by this damage. This is a bulky Manaphy, and it's a resisted hit, and I do 28%. Lovely jubbly. I'm sorry if you can hear talking in the background. I've got a family. It's annoying, I know. Here, I know that you can take a hit after a Carmine, so I go for an HP Electric to kill it off. It doesn't go for it in the end, so that's fine. Glaceon gets a kill. It's beautiful. I then... Oh yeah, he brings out Megalop, and here I go for the Protect, expecting the HJK, but he reveals Power Up Punch, because Megalopony is a hard Pokemon to play. You just bring stab moves and you win anyway, so... people keep saying that it's bad in this format, but it's far from it. It's probably one of the best, and it's one of those it's very easy to execute with. I'm not taking anything away from Merc at this point. The way that he played it is very intelligent in getting rid of my checks to it. So I go for the CC, does 36% to this. I don't want to take a Volt Switch or whatever hit this wants to go for. So I could go out into Rotom. He's not going to go for a Sludge Wave on Cobalion. He's not going to risk it. Even if he did, I could have then gone out into T-Tar. So he Volt Switches out. This is pretty much dead at this point. It goes back out into Lop, if I remember right. Yeah. I've got pretty much nothing for this at this point. So he goes for the return, kills me off, that's fine. I was expecting him to go for a fighting move, but I guess he wanted to play it safe. Cobalion is my only play, because I've still got the Tropical Berry. And here I decide to be a bit ballsy. I go for the SD, if I remember right, predicting the switch. As he goes out into Tangrowth, and here I'm thinking to myself, he's going to be EQ to hit this, so I SD up, lovely jubbly. And I Magnet Rise because I'm a man, and I'm thinking to myself, this is GG, I can set up, I can win. Completely forgetting that Tornadus outspeeds me, but that's beside the point. And he reveals Focus Blast to burn the Tropical Berry, which is good prep on his behalf. And that really puts a hindrance in my plans. So at this point, I know that I've lost at this point. I go for the Iron Head. He misses the next Focus Blast, which is unfortunate, but in hindsight, it would have been cool if he hit it, because this Tangrowth would still be alive, and I could have potentially gone for a sub if he went for another Focus Blast and dodged it, which would have been clutch, but no. So Cobalion getting a kill as well. Nothing too special this week. This is my biggest loss so far. Fantastic, I know. Here, I'm pretty much praying for an HJK miss. I mean, it's only as accurate as Draco Meteor in the end, so... Gotta love RNG, right? Yeah, he hits the HJK, no problem. And T-Tar is... I mean, an HJK will kill like a billion T-Tars at this point. I'm always running a nerve in case they've got a Colbur Berry potential, but I don't know why I brought it this week. At this point, I just tried to go for a sub in case he does miss. He goes for the SJK and kills me off, so... GG to Merc. He played it very well. He got rid of all my Megalop checks, whether it be down to somewhat involved by RNGesus, but you know, it happens. I think the real turning point of that match was the misprediction on the Nidoqueen going for the Ice Beam. If I did get it right and went out into, say, Cobalion, it would have been a much better match for me, as Megalop would have caused me a lot less problems, but what can you do? This pretty much puts me out of the playoff race. I'm 3-4 now, which still isn't a bad record. It's the same one as I had last season, but I've got a better differential, as most of my losses have been 1 or 2-0s. I've got 2 1-0s and 1 2-0, or is it 2 2-0s and 1 1-0? I can't remember how much I lost to the line, but yeah, this loss is unfortunate. It puts me out of the race. It sets up Merc quite nicely. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go into next match rather seriously, as I want to end up at least even. If I don't win that one, I'm going to meme it up for last week, because memes. I've got some pretty fun ideas for that as well, so yeah, on that note, MLG scrolling right there. My MVP for this match, it's hard to pinpoint really, but I guess I'd have to go with Cobalion. It's the only thing that really pressured his Mega Lopunny. It's the only thing that really pressured his team. Should he not have had that Focus Blast, and should his Thunderous Therian not been catered to outspeed me or not scarfed for some random reason, then I could have potentially swept with it, which would have been pretty cool. Late game sweep from Cobalion would have been nice, but it wasn't meant to be. What can I say other than that? Oh yeah, always don't forget to ring out that like button, and I'll put on the GIF of the week as the closing image for this match. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.